Dear students, today 10th standard poetry we are going to discuss. You see, in literature, poetry plays a vital role. You all aware that there is prose and there is poetry. There are great poets like William Shakespeare, Wordsworth, Byron, Shelley, John Keats, etc. They are equal to our Tamil poets like Kamban, Thiruvalluvan, Bharati, etc. So, they made great revolutions. If you want to enjoy literature, you will have to read poetry. So, poetry, what is poetry? Poetry is an art of emotions recollected in tranquility. Poetry is the art of recollecting emotions in tranquility. So today we are going to see, before that, my dear students, what is the difference between prose and poem? Prose means best right words in right places. You see? You might have studied so many prose essays. Prose means right words in right places. You please repeat in your mind so that it will stick to your memory. On the other hand, what's a poem? Poem is the best words in best places. You must know the difference. Prose is right words in right places. Poem, best words in best places. So you can understand the difference between prose and poem. People enjoy poetry. And so, what is the difference between poem and poetry? You know, prose and poem are different. But what is the difference between poetry and poem? Yes, I appreciate the student very much. He is giving a correct reply. That is, poetry is a collection of poems. Poetry is the collection of poems. That's what we call in Tamil as Cheyul. For 10th standard students, you have got interesting poems. To start with, we go through Robert Frost. My dear students, before going into any poem, or before going into any of the books, you should be familiar with the author. This is the first point every student must know. If you are reading Ramayanam, you must know about Kamban. If you are reading Tirukkural, you must know about Thiruvalluvar. If you are reading any other poems, you must know the name of the author. First point. And after that, you will have to study the background of the poem. To get the spirit of any poem, you will have to understand the background. You will have to understand the environment. You will have to understand the situation for which this poem has been authored by the particular point. So, the second important point is you must know about the background or the environment. Third thing is the theme of the poem. Theme. Do you know what is the meaning of the word theme? Yes, central idea. You must know the central idea of the poem. The theme is the art of the poem. Theme is the soul of the poem. Theme is the brain of the poem. Since the poem is of emotional one, since it is related to the feelings and emotions, we can say the theme is the soul. It is the art and soul of any poem. So, my dear students, there are 3 stages before getting into the poem. First thing is, you must know about the author. Second thing, the background. Third thing, the theme or the central idea of the poem. Whether we will go into your poem, and the poet is Robert Frost. Robert Frost was a famous American poet. There are other poets American poets like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Robert Frost, etc. The list is endless. So Robert Frost is one of the famous poets. Robert Frost, his works were studied by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. His works were enjoyed by the Nightingale of India, Sarojini Naidu. So Robert Frost, when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru died, he had been studying the works of Robert Frost. So, my dear students, I would like to tell you that fortunately or unfortunately, consciously or unconsciously, what Jawaharlal Nehru had been reading becomes a message of his life. And we will have to remember those lines were from Robert Frost. Jawaharlal Nehru underlined those 4 lines before he breathed his last. Those works were by Robert Frost. I think you are intelligent students. I think you are all students of highly motivated, enthusiastic, and reading a lot from your library. So I am very sure that you are familiar with those 4 lines. I will repeat. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. These were the last lines read by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Those lines were written by our poet Robert Frost. You understand the meaning of the 4 lines. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. The woods means it is not the forest, it is a life ahead. It is a life ahead for India, the independent India. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. Dark and deep. Uncertain future is referred as dark. And they are great. So they are mentioned as dark and deep. And the woods are lovely, dark and deep. But I have promises to keep. I have given a lot of promises. As a Prime Minister of India, as a Congress party leader, and as I am the hope of millions and millions of Indians, I have given a lot of promises. I said I will build dams. I said that I will bring green revolution. I said that I will make industrial revolution in India. So these are the promises given by me, not only by me, but my colleagues like Sardarji, etc. So I have promises to keep. But before achieving all these things, I have to go a long way. And promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep. I will have to travel far and wide and deep, and miles to go before I sleep. Sleep means the final sleep, that is death. And miles to go before I sleep. This is the message of Jawaharlal Nehru, thanks to Robert Frost, who authored this poem. And that great poet, that great American poet, has authored 2 poems for you. And those 2 poems which we are going to study. This is about the author. You see, the first poem is Dust of Snow. Dust of Snow. You see, this is by Robert Frost. You go through the lines, just 8 lines only, very simple, smart, short, and they can be memorized if you read 2 times. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had you. You see, simply it is over. Poet Robert Frost, you see, he was standing under a tree. This tree is called a hemlock tree. You are standing under a hemlock tree. People used to stand under the trees sometimes, and that is hemlock tree. Have you heard about the word hemlock? Hemlock is a tree from which poison was regularly made. My dear student, it is interesting to say that Socrates revolutionized millions of youngsters in Greece, and he was given a death penalty. When death penalty was given to Socrates, he was forced to drink a poison. He was forced to drink a poison. That poison is called a hemlock. You please remember that the hemlock killed Socrates. Socrates smilingly took it. That's a different story altogether. But when I study, when I go through the poem, that hemlock tree. So he was standing. Robert Frost was standing under a tree, and a crow. Crow usually related to ill woman. Crow is related to ill woman by English poets. So there are two bad things in the first stanza. You see, the students, there are two stanzas. This is called a stanza. You should not call it as a paragraph. Those such little 4 or 5 lines in prose alone should be called as a paragraph, while in poetry they are called as stanzas. S-T-A-N-Z-A, that you know. So the way a crow shook down on me. I was standing under a bough, I was standing under a tree, I was standing under a hemlock tree, and the crow shook down. The snow fell upon me. The snow fell upon me. So he says, the remnants of snow is called as the dust of snow. That is the idea. Dust of snow means it is not directly fallen. They have fallen on the tree and they were there for some time, and the crow shook it. It fell upon Robert Frost. So he call it as a dust. What do you call it as a dust? Something unwanted, something that should be disregarded, something that should not be taken for purpose is called a dust. So the dust of snow that was made to fall on the poets under a hemlock tree. The crow, the hemlock tree, and the dust, all the three are unwanted things. The crow is unwanted because it is related to ill woman. The hemlock, you know, that is a poison killed Socrates, and the dust we never like because dust causes all diseases. So we'll have to keep our surroundings clean, and during this corona period, high degree of sanitation is needed as advised by our ancestors. So dust. And my dear student, the latest trend is that the corona is also spreading, that it is becoming airborne. Nearly 270 scientists wrote to WHO, World Health Organization, stating that there are reasons to believe that the corona is now becoming airborne and it is causing dust in the atmosphere. So my dear students, they are advised, even while you are in your house, you will have to wear mask. I know that boy is smiling at me. I know the reason. The teacher is telling wear mask, but the teacher is not wearing mask. I know the reason for his smile, but I can tell you, if I close my mouth, you cannot hear, you cannot get my pronunciation clear, my dear students. So, dust of snow. So that dust has given my heart. So a sudden change of circumstances, that disturbs. When your friend comes, you are very happy. When your enemy comes, you become bored. When you are asked to chat with your friend, you are interested. But when you are asked to do an assignment, your mood is changed. When your teacher telephones and telling you, right, work out this project, work out this activity, suddenly you get bored. I am not talking about you students, but there are certain students like those they dislike, they change their mood. And my aunt went a change of mood. It wasn't at one mood, my mood has completely changed because of the fall of desks. And saved some part of the day, I had room. And for the rest of the day, my mood has completely changed. One thing I will thinking about the poem, you see, the poem presents a moment that seems simple. Let's go through the summary, but has a larger significance. Compare other quotation, always a larger significance. So, my dear students, what they say, whenever you read a particular poem, you will have to read the works of the author from other poems also. Then only you can make a comparative literature. Comparative literature is always interesting. If the comparison is between the same author, it is good. If it is between different authors, it is better. If it is between different languages or different countries, it is the best one. So, he says, always larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. A little thing touches a larger thing. You see, one invisible corona, a little thing. It touches a man, larger thing. You understand the difference? What are the consequences? So you can get it. What is dust of snow? What does the poet say as changed the mood? How has the poet's mood changed? How has these questions you are going to answer? You see, central idea of the poem, I told you already, Dust of Snow. It's a small poem written by the famous American poet Robert Frost. The poem is set on a wintry day. In the first stanza, I told you what is the stanza. The poet describes a simple natural happening. The snow is falling heavily. The snowflakes have covered the top of the trees. You please imagine, you please visualize that snow is falling and the snowflakes are making their way on the trees. The poet is standing under a hemlock tree. The movement and the alighting of a crop. Alight means get down. It was flying somewhere and it got down on the tree. The force of getting down on the tree, shook the branches, and the dust fell. What? Okay? Right. And the alighting of a crow on the tree made the dust of snow fall on the poet. It fell upon the poets. The crow, a symbol of ill omen. Ill omen means bad omen. Kaptasagam. Ill omen and the hemlock tree associated with a person is not auspicious things. Not auspicious means inauspicious, not good, not favorable, unlucky, unfortunate is called not auspicious. We used to fix the marriages in auspicious time, say between 7:30 and 9. 9 and 10:30 a.m. like that, we fix it. Kanya Lagnam, Mash Lagnam, etc. They are all auspicious times. Not auspicious means unfortunate, ill timings. However, in the second stanza, the falling of snowflakes and the scene leave a tremendous effect, not an ordinary effect, tremendous. You will notice the word tremendous. Tremendous effect. When Dhoni bats, the bat has got a tremendous effect on the mental state and mood of the poet. It has changed completely the mental states. So far the day has been quite gloomy and wastage for you. It was so gloomy. Gloomy means dark, not bright. Gloomy and wastage for him because he did not study anything, he did not write anything, and he did not do anything. Whenever a day is went without any constructive purpose, it is a wastage day. Wastage for him. But this ordinary natural happening suddenly brings a desired change in his mood. So his mood has changed from negative to positive, from pessimistic to optimistic, from bad to good, from gloomy to brightness, from darkness to brightness, from unencouraging to pleasant. mood, etc. It gladdens his heart. Whenever we get our mood changed, we are very happy. Our father says, "Hey, see, I brought you a cell phone." Immediately we are elated. The same way, he realizes that falling of snowflakes on him has saved the day. Now he has no regret as the whole of the day has not gone waste. The moments of the snowfall and their effect have saved the day. They have brought a change in his mood and gladdened and uplifted his spirits. What is the testimony for it? What is the evidence for this? As a result of change of his mood, he authored this poem. So, the world has got a beautiful piece of literature in the form of snow falling. That is the greatest thing the world has got out of this change of mood. A small change. You see, when the snow fell, it changed his mood and he started writing a poem, and the poem becomes very interesting, and you are studying it today. So that is the thing. In the same way, my dear students, you are able to remember when the apple fell, it drove Sir Isaac Newton to invent a new theory, gravitational theory. It was caused by a small event. It was caused by a simple falling of apple, but it led to a discovery or invention which revolutionized the world. So in the same way, the just falling of the snow has changed his heart, and we got the poem. In that way, we can enjoy this poem. Dust of Snow is an awful poem of nature by Robert Frost. You see, there is a spelling mistake, Robert Frost. In this poem, a symbolic incident is present. So, the incident is symbolic. The poet is standing under a hemlock tree. He is in a sad mood. He thinks that his day has been lost. Then a crow shakes the hemlock tree and the dust of snow falls on him. This little incident brings about a sudden change in the state of the poet's mind. His mood has changed. He thinks that it has served the rest of the day. He gets busy with his work. He works like the crow. You see, what a crow was considered as a ill omen, but it has changed the mood of the poets. It has encouraged him. A crow encouraged him. A small incident changed his mood. So he had shifted the gears from darkness to brightness, from unhappy to pleasantness, from gloomy to brightness. So he has changed his heart. All of them has been caused by a small event. In that way, we can enjoy this Robert Frost poem fantastically, and this has only 8 lines. You can memorize for future reference. Until then, goodbye.